Welcome to Easy English Talks podcast.
Hey there, English learners. My name is Tom, and welcome to another episode of Easy English Talks podcast. Let me ask you something. Do you understand English movies, YouTube videos, and even this podcast? But when it's time to speak, your mind goes completely blank. You're not alone. And today, we're going to fix this. I'll show you why this happens and give you powerful tools that if you enjoy this podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel. It means a lot and helps us bring you more natural, real-life English every week. Now, let's get started. Part 1. The big problem. Have you ever listened to someone speak English and thought, wow, I understand everything? But then, when it's your turn to speak, you freeze. Your mind goes completely blank. You know what you want to say. You can feel the words in your head, but they won't come out. So you try to think of a simpler way to say it, but by that time, you've completely forgotten what you wanted to say. Does this sound familiar? If so, don't worry. In this episode of Easy English Talks, I'm going to teach you how to stop understanding English listening and start speaking it too. Now before we move on, let me ask you another question. When you are listening to English, do you hear individual words or do you hear connected speech where the words run together? For example, do you hear I am going to the store or do you hear I am gone? Nah, go to the store. If you hear individual words like this, it will be very difficult to start speaking. You have to train your ear to hear connected speech so that your brain processes the language faster. So now let's move on to part 2. Why does this happen? First, most language learning methods make you memorize vocabulary without any context. As a result, you learn a list of isolated words and you do and know how to use them in real conversations. Second, you listen to slow and exaggerated pronunciation on YouTube and in language classes. But no one speaks like that in real life. Finally, because no one corrects you, you may develop some bad habits, which make speaking even more difficult. Now that you know the problem and why it happens, let's talk about the solutions. Part 3. Fix number 1. Speak a little every day. No matter what level you are, you should always have a goal for speaking. For example, if you're an intermediate learner, you could aim to speak 10 minutes a day. Just set a timer and speak in English for 10 minutes without stopping. What should you talk about? It doesn't matter. You can talk about anything you like, or just describe what you see around you. Or you can follow along with these shadowing exercises, which I will share in part 4 and part 6 of this episode. Here is a bonus tip for you. If you only have a few minutes, you can still do it. Set a timer for 1 minute and just keep talking until the timer stops. This exercise will help you get over the fear of speaking and allow ideas to flow from your brain to your mouth naturally. Part 4. Shadowing practice number 1. Now let's do some shadowing practice. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speaking and then immediately repeat what they said. It's a great way to improve your speaking skills because you focus on pronunciation, rhythm, stress, intonation, and connected speech. Okay, let's begin. Listen and repeat after me. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks podcast. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to how I pronounce each word and try to imitate my pronunciation. Hello, everyone. My name's Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks podcast. Now let's add some connected speech. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks podcast. Great job. Let's move on to the next part, part 5. Fix number 2. Use the language. Don't study it. Don't focus on grammar rules. Stop trying to memorize vocabulary lists and reduce the time you spend studying English. Instead, immerse yourself in English. Watch English videos and listen to English songs. Surround yourself with English. If you live in a place where people speak another language, you can watch English TV shows with subtitles. And if you live in an English-speaking country, you can watch without subtitles. You can also start following English-speaking creators on social media. And if you don't have anyone to speak with, you can talk to yourself. And I know it sounds weird, but it's really helpful. And I'm gonna teach you a trick later in this episode on how to do it effectively. Part 6. Shadowing practice number 2. Now we're going to do another shadowing exercise. But this time I'm going to speak a little faster. Listen and repeat after me. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks. Today we are going to talk about why you understand English but cannot speak. All right, now I want you to pay attention to my pronunciation. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks. Today we are going to talk about why you understand English but cannot speak. Let's add some connected speech. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom, and welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talks. Today we are going to talk about why you understand English but cannot speak. Good job. Let's move on to the next part. Part 7, the 10-minute talk trick. This is a simple trick to practice speaking English when you don't have anyone to talk to. You just need a pen and a piece of paper. Take the pen and write a question on the paper. For example, how was your day? And change the question into a statement and write it below. For example, my day was amazing. Repeat these steps 5 times. Once you finish writing, you will have 7 sentences. Now set a timer for 10 minutes and talk about those questions. For example, how was your day? My day was amazing. How was your morning? My morning was productive. How was your weekend? My weekend was fun. What did you do yesterday? I went to the movies with my friends. What do you have planned for tomorrow? I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. What are you doing right now? I am recording this episode of Easy English Talks, and now you can use these sentences to talk to yourself. Remember, the key is to just keep talking. If you want to, you can pause between each sentence to think about what to say next. But I recommend you try to talk as much as possible without pausing. After 10 minutes, you will realize that you talked for 10 minutes without stopping. That means you can speak English. Now, if you want to keep talking, you can continue using the same topic or choose another one. At the end of this episode, I'll give you a call to action. But first, let me give you some bonus tips. Some people find it easier to talk if they have something to read. So you can take notes, read questions and answers, or read your diary. If you enjoyed this episode, I know you'll love this one too. So click here and see you next time.